Now Muhammed Gergef, the floor is yours. He's going to talk about the Circasian diaspora and speak on behalf of them. He represents the last wave of expulsions. The floor is yours. May God's blessing be on you. Before I start my speech, I would like to celebrate Mother's Day, who has opened the doors of heaven for us. I am a Circasian born in Turkey. I am of Circasian origin and a Turkish citizen. Özden, my elder brother, talked about this already. We had not come here willingly. We are children of expulsion. We are children of pain. We are children of real genocide and murder. When I say these things, I hope you feel also a chill down your spine. When the Russian war ended in 1930s, my family came to Turkey, the last villagers. When my granddad came to Turkey, he was 4 years old, his elder brother 18. I had never met my granddad, may he rest in peace. He went to Hajj and he was known as Haji Ömer. Everyone around my age in my village had their grandfather with the name Muhajir. During the Russian-Japanese War, my father's grandfather rioted, sided with the Japanese, with the Caucasian army, and started fighting against the Russians. As a result of this fight, Russia lost against Japan. After Russia was defeated by Japan, then over Siberia, my grandfather and a voluntary Islamic army entered Chechnya and Dagestan, and they came together, rallied their forces to fight together. And then in Tuapse, a Circasian city, they were executed. A firman, which was issued back then, ordered that none should be left alive from my grandfather's family. Then over Azerbaijan and Iran, the family left to Jordan, and then finally they ended up in Ottoman territory. So they were obligated to leave their homeland. In Jordan, my grandfathers could not find their relatives. That's why they were brought to Istanbul and then to Kayseri. The little story that I was supposed to tell is more or less this, and now we are their descendants and we try to survive. My real topic is about the War of Independence of Circasia, 1829 Edirne Agreement. Ottoman Empire abandoned the coastal areas of Kuban, Chechnya, and Russians deemed it as a success, as a victory. And Russia declared that Circasia was left to the Russian authority. That is why they keep celebrating it as their own festival. After Edirne Agreement, Circasia was suffering. Then from Anapa to Soho, the coastal line was or became a battlefield. Russians fought against Circassians, walked across the river, established patrol stations, and declared that Circassia was under Russian authority and control. At the end of 1839, Circassia was occupied both from land and sea. It was divided into two. And then from Kuban River to Kitmarka River to Baz Plains, ethnic cleansing was rife, and the whole area became bloodshed. From Baz Plain, Adiges were expelled. Kabardes, Beslenes, and Abzeh Circassians were persecuted. Today there's an autonomous region known to be Circassia. This is what I'm talking about. Karachay Circassia Republic. I don't know if we can call it a Circassia anymore, because all Circassians were expelled. Kadardes, Karachays, Abzehs, Shapsarhs, Jeduks, Kenkuiks, Hatikois, all these in 1864 or until 1864 had to suffer due to conflicts and clashes. 1853, Crimean War. The expulsion of Circassians became even harsher. But under the leadership of Shamil, important battles were fought. When Shamil had to surrender to Russians, the Russian expulsion began on the 21st of May 1863. So 21st of May is a festival for Russians, a mourning day for Circassians. Every year, all Circassians living in Turkey come together, commemorate their ancestors, and pray for them. 1864 is a year of tragedy, a year of a tragic expulsion. Around 3 million people had to leave their homes and they were deported. One of the previous speakers already told you how many people had suffered, so I'm too weak and feeble to repeat these numbers. They were first forced to cross the Black Sea. More than half of these people died of sickness, or they were drowned in the Black Sea. They were executed. And the remaining part of these people came to Ottoman territory. That was the weakest era of Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was already on the verge of collapse. That's why they could not really help Circassians. They could not really settle them, and they could not really help them overcome their health problems. Only around 150,000 Circassians died in the shores of Ottoman Empire. And in Kefken Karaç, that's why we keep a monument. They were buried in this village, and thousands do not even have their gravestone because they were lost. Caucasus Foundation and similar NGOs were established in the meantime. Caucasus associations brought together information from our ancestors. 3 million people left their homelands. 1.5 million people was able to make it to the Ottoman land. Be it Chechenian, Kabardian, Dagestan, Ingushetian, Chechenian, etc. So all peoples of northern Caucasus, so to speak, had to leave their homes. And when they made it to the Ottoman territory, the majority of which came by sea, the vessels carrying the Circassians came to Sakarya, Ordu, Sinop, Adapazarı, Akçakoca, and all these portal cities of Turkey. They were settled in different parts of Anatolia in line with 1878 Berlin Treaty of Berlin. They were again deported to African geography and within Turkey, Anatolia, Cyprus, Syria, Jordan, Palestine, Egypt were some of the countries where there was free space for these people, and this is how they were settled. And today, Central Black Sea, Western Black Sea and Central Anatolia, Bingöl, Bitlis, many cities in eastern and southeastern Anatolia have provided homes to all these people. At the moment in Turkey, there are around 7 million people of North Caucasus origin. 4 million of these are Circassians. The remaining 3 million are Chechenian, Dagestanian, Ossetian, and Abkhazian. Today, in the Middle East, Syrian Circassians are suffering from the second wave of genocide. Around 150,000 Circassians live in Syria right now. And today's Assad regime are not supported by Circassians, but they are not also siding with the opponents. The opponents put pressure on the Circassians on the grounds that they don't receive support. And Assad regime also puts pressure on the Circassians on the grounds that they don't support the regime. So around 1,000 or 1,500 Circassians have returned to their homeland. But due to policies of persecution of Russian Federation, they cannot really live peacefully in their homeland. There are many people who want to go back to their homeland, but they are subjected to persecution, despotism, and prohibitions. Most of the Circassians are Muslims, they are Sunnis. I am also Muslim and Sunni. Özden said a minute ago, it is for sure that Putin is not Muslim, is not Hanefi or Shafi. If he had been one, he would not have persecuted us and he would not have imprisoned us in our own land and let us free at least on our own land. He would have at least allowed us to live as Circassians with our brothers and sisters. I think my time is up. First of all, I would like to thank President Murat of İMKANDER, his people and everyone who contributed to the organization of this conference. May God's blessing be upon you. Thank you.
Biz de Muhammed Gergef Bey'e
We would like to thank Mr. Gergef for this speech. He has shared the Chechenian perspective with us. In our halls there are several flags, 1828 to 1844, the Caucasus Imam state, and this flag, the United Circasian flag, 1838, that also symbolizes the unity of the Caucasus peoples. And from 1919 to 1920, after the Soviet Revolution, the Islam Emirate of Northern Caucasus All of these flags are actually testimonies of the fact that in the Caucasus there was unity 100 years ago.